Welcome to the Innovation Week. My name is Marta Giralt. I'm the Program Area Manager of Innovation at Ziggurat Global Institute of Technology. Today, we will have a series of presentations and use cases and a workshop as well, in which you will see how can you bring from innovation technology to strategic decision making. So let's have a look at the agenda. Today, the topic is deep technology. And first of all, we will have Oscar Sala, which will explain us how this new technology can address the global challenges. And second, we will see the practice of what Oscar is telling us. And that will be with Miguel Silva. And Miguel Silva will explain about Allread AI and will present the use case of this company in which they are using machine learning to improve logistics. So Ziggurat is a global institute of technology with more than 20 years of experience in online learning for professionals. We aim to train and empower people and organizations to be the catalyzers of transformation and change in the industries and sectors. So being part of Ziggurat means networking with more than 2,000 students of more than 100 nationalities. It means receiving mentoring from top industry leading experts. Also bringing all the theory into practice with workshops, use cases, and mentoring into specific projects. And finally, being able to network face-to-face twice a year with all those students and professors you've met during the year. But before we start, I'd like to tell you that if you stay until the end, we have a small surprise for you. So keep tuned. Now, I would like to introduce you to Oscar Sala. Oscar Sala is the director of the Collider, a tech transfer program at the Mobile World Capital Barcelona. He's also professor of our Global Master of Digital Transformation. And today he will tell us about DeepTech. So Oscar, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thanks, Marta. It's really a pleasure to have the opportunity to share some point of view, get fun to this afternoon together. Okay, do you want me to go ahead with my presentation? Fantastic. Can you see my presentation? Okay, so let's go for it. So today I want to share with you that we are in the new moment of our humanity. Okay, we have technology today to think different and make different, and something it's called family talking about deep tech, built from tech possibilities. And today I want to share with you some examples, some challenge that thanks to technology would be able to do today. Okay, first of all, I want to remark and highlight that it's possible to address current solutions with a different way that we used to do in the past, thanks to technology. An example of that is what has happened in this pandemic. Thanks to this new technology, we've been able to develop a vaccine in 5 years' time before the previous technology, and what we'll be able to do in the future thanks to technology. Okay, technology has shown us that we are able to touch and talk to people worldwide through the screen. And built from tech possibilities, we are able to do really spectacular things that we weren't able to with the previous technology. And it's the reason why we are commonly naming this era as deep tech. And today I want to go deeper about these possibilities and put some examples what will be useful, possible, thanks to current technology. Why not to address corporate challenge in a different way? Why not, instead of using startup and using a specific technology to change your sector, why not to create disruptive solutions through tech possibilities, merging these two worlds? And thanks to that, thanks to the current technology, we'll be able to identify illness such as cancer or Alzheimer. No? Or thanks to DeepMind, these networks will be able to decipher the DNA, to encipher our genomic code, and to be sure that we're able to shift from treatment of disease to treatment of the patient, a different angle of health. No? And thanks to quantum computing, that will provide us powerful, and Google already has specific computers that run 100 million faster than current computers to Monte Carlo simulation. But there's a race who dominates technology. But if we would have capacity of computation capacity enough, we will be able to deliver and to address a lot of things. And in a connected world with a lot of subjects talking to each other, capacity, connectivity, it's something that's a must. And it's why not to reduce, thanks to quantum computing, the new chemical models to reduce energy costs. Sustainability is one of the challenges that we have in front of us today, humanity. Or the agro, no? The agro is one of the sectors that's more transversal. The industry with nearly 7 billion customers, you and me. So this, thanks to this digitization in the value chain from farm to fork, we'll be able to think different and use technology to, first of all, to address the problem that we'll face in nearly 20 years. In 2050, there will be around 10 billion people in the world, 30% more than today. 30% more today. So there's no meat for everyone. So thanks to technology, we'll be able to promote a smart farm, to manage properly environment, to water, circular economy, and so on. And this is thanks to technology today. And innovation in deep tech perhaps is the best way to find the next blue ocean. And it's something that for years that we've been discussing in the SIGURAT program, we've been able to, there's something, normally I bring an example. I will kindly ask to all the people who are listening today, okay, let's Google where were the companies that were dominating the world 20 years ago and where are the companies dominating today. The world has changed a lot. And the traditional business, it's important to stand it, but perhaps it's time to think differently and think beyond the traditional business. And deep tech and build from tech possibilities could help you to compete in a different way and going beyond the business. And there are really good examples, sectors in banking, in health, and so on, that they're in this moment today, in this transformation moment, and is what offers deep tech. No? And my question there is, okay, I am very aware that perhaps it's time to think different and make different, but how to start? And now I would like to highlight 10 specific key points what rock stars in innovation are doing to becoming a pioneer of change. Okay, first of all, it's about thinking different, and you need to train to think different, think beyond the business. The second is always about talent. We are in the era of connected talent. For the future, perhaps you would need a different talent. If you think in the same way, you will make the things in the same way. So you need to think different. Perhaps the first step is to think the kind of talent. And the more diverse talent that you have, multi-gender, multicultural, multi-age generation in your company, the more profitability, the more richness you will have, and the solutions that we bring to the market. The third is everything. It's always about setting a goal. Everything starts. What do you want to get? And afterwards comes how. But always set a goal. If you don't have a destiny, every win could be good or bad. Okay. Fourth, you need to be agile. So inoculate startup DNA into your structure. And try. It's about trying. It's American people say fail fast. It's about thinking big but working small and try, and manage very well the risk of the things that you try. But the only way of learning, the only way of improving, the only way of building new things is about making mistakes, and it's about trying. The challenge there is the bigger is the brand, the less willingness of them to manage their reputation risk. But perhaps the reason why perhaps it's important to collaborate with other actors that can provide you this agility. Protect the brand. Okay. The Cowper Boston Consulting Group matrix says, no, the companies can split their products, co-products. The co-products are who you fit today, and the star products who you will fit tomorrow. It's important to stand with your co-product today, but if you don't spend time on the future, perhaps you won't subsist. Remind what I was pointing out about Google, what were the main companies who were doing the world 20 years ago. No? Seventh, but it's digital transformation is always the innovation strategy. It's always a mission and vision debate. It's a corporate strategy debate. beyond the business, of course, but always belonging to your purpose, okay? And it is on your purpose, okay? Let's question everything else, okay? And it's not about doing things alone. If you want to run fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together with people. And all the pandemic and again has shared a lot of things. We have a lot of learnings, okay? It's parts of the decision is not an opportunity, it's a must. It's an option, sorry. Countries, sectors more digitized are succeeding on this new paradigm that we are working. And thanks to technology, the collaboration such as this vaccine development has been enabled, thanks to be part of the ecosystems and global collaborations, okay? And it's time to start creating the conditions for tomorrow. If not, perhaps it will be very late. And the last, you cannot be excellent, outstanding in a lot of things. Perhaps it's time to partner with, to collaborate with, okay, to people that can provide this agility. And today I will share with you one example of what we do, an example of an accelerator program that we are helping lots of corporates a year to think different and make different, accelerating their new business models, thanks to deep tech possibilities, okay? And this offers a different angle from traditional incremental innovation, okay? And this is a picture from Henry Ford that perhaps puts in doubt all what you are going to be taught in all business schools, no? Customer first, okay. Normally, yes, but if you want to disrupt, perhaps customer is not ready. You need to create the future. And this is a good statement from him. Said, okay, if I ask people what they wanted, they have said a faster horse. And I was very convinced that they need a car. So it's time not to always thinking to the customer. It's time to co-create with tech possibilities. And afterwards, of course, the customer should validate it. And how we address these, or how we accelerate these opportunities in Collider. First of all, we are helping corporates to understand that instead of using a startup, technology, why not if we build from tech possibilities? Okay, and it's what we do. We are a program that is not a short program. It's inside Mobile World Congress and Fourier from our ecosystem. Okay, inside Mobile World Capital Foundation, that we are ecosystem builders taking advantage of this global ecosystem that we are part of. That Mobile World Congress happens in Barcelona, in Shanghai, Los Angeles, and we are able to connect all the year all these dots through corporates, startups, and innovation. And in Collider, what we help is lots of corporates to address their challenge through deep tech innovation. And how we do that? At the end, we understand their needs. Afterwards, we put on that conversation tech possibilities, research projects that have been working in the lab for several years, and it's time to transfer to the market. And afterwards, we create teams merging serial entrepreneurs and researchers that co-create with corporates market solutions, okay? And at the end is a program that starts from the first one, market needs. Second, we put on that conversation research projects. The third is we make a due diligence of the market and the technology, because at the end, innovation is a question of time, mature ready, market ready to adopt a specific technology, and the technology is ready to address a specific problem. The fourth is a program that is based, and is the reason why we are called Collider. We are an acceleration of particles, but our particles are talent, are people, serial entrepreneurs like Miguel. I'm sure they will be able to touch a real case in a while, okay? And the fifth, and the secret, our magic formula is this co-creation. During 15 weeks, we are able to address real needs of the market, building from tech possibilities, and we are orchestrating all this program, okay? Is a program that normally we select 15 projects a year from all the research, Spanish research ecosystem. We receive nearly 300 projects, 40% non-Catalan, 10% European, and thanks to the trust of 200 corporates, we are selecting the best 15 projects that will be incubated in our program. Afterwards, we have very close relationship with lots of corporates that we are providing them agility in testing new concepts, launching new business models, or build from tech possibilities to address and generate impact through innovation that generates revenue or cost reduction. If not, innovation without impact is not innovation. This is imagination. We are providing real innovation, okay? And at the end, after this program, after we co-create market solutions, we are the first investor, and we make the seed investment to make the first pilots to incorporate the spin-off. And afterwards, there's a lot of investors that follow our investment funds with investing in the startups with the real market companies without the same risk and when the company that you create, okay? And we have done a lot of really exciting, outstanding projects. An example of the huge opportunity that they are merging tech and business. Let me bring you some examples, okay, around digital health. Let me bring you examples of Farmacelera. Farmacelera is a company that only what does is democratize the knowledge in drug discovery and offers this knowledge to a lot of pharma and is able to reduce 30% time and cost in drug discovery. Case of RedX, a medical device that is able to reduce nearly 4 billion a year with one single tier of blood analysis, okay? Or Exeus that will be able to, thanks to analysis for RNA, to analyze that today perhaps it's not time for Messi to play football because he will be injured. A company that has been developed in a friend of Kylian Jornet with marathonists in the mountain, that will be, they thought that thanks to RNA they were able to answer a specific question. This will be useful for identify potential diseases. This will be useful for a change in nutrition. So digital health, a lot of real examples. In the case of Industry 4.0, you will see in a while, really spectacular, outstanding what Miguel, Adrian, all the red team are doing, but I'm sure that you will be able to touch and talk directly to him in a while, okay? Deep detection, a company that is able to identify materials are in all the supply chain of all the agro sector, okay? Or in the case of energy utilities, companies that are able to shrink and reduce nearly 40% in cost energy consumption. So these kind of things happen when you merge two worlds, the world of technology and the world of the business. And it's what we do in Collider. We create real impactful innovation, helping corporates going beyond the traditional business, helping them to work with tech possibilities. And this is what I wanted to share with you today, okay? Regarding the impact, okay, let me bring a different examples, okay? What's the kind of impact? Let me ask for a question to all the people who are attending today. What's the kind of impact that the traditional long tail startup is generating? What's the kind of richness? I want to put some examples. You can imagine the typical long tail business model, an e-commerce. It's true, perhaps, but these startups is really generating impact, it's really richness, it's really generating employment, or it's more generating profitability, return of investment for the first investor, okay? In deep tech, there are a different opportunity. Impact our business are going together. And this is a real example of another learnings that our pandemic has shared with us. This 2 years pandemic, you can analyze the world of people are more digitized, less digitized, or countries that apart than using technology to address their needs, they are building from their research knowledge. And these countries are doing better in terms of economy. It's the case of China. That's the only country worldwide has grown in 2020. It's the case of states that left behind the crisis of 2008, where Europe, it would take at least several years for us. And what do these countries have in common? they have an economy more based on their own knowledge, own research knowledge. And is what the angle that we want to share with you today. First of all, after 4 years, we have created 16 spin-offs, that 14 are alive, generating 19 direct employment jobs, 71 direct, and 18 of them research applied. And you remind my statement, no? Okay, long tail startups are generated richness for the first investors. What happens with DeepTech? Normally, DeepTech thinks, no, wow, this perhaps is not mature enough. This is more risky. This is not offering the same profitability for investors that current long tail business model. This is not true. This is on the right-hand side of my presentation. You can see that our experience after co-creating with industry and research mature and entrepreneurs are doing really a good job and start the job as Miguel, okay? After investing only $500,000 direct invested, we have raised nearly 6 million euros in 3 years. And in 3 years' time, this $500,000 direct investment has transformed in companies. Their market valuation is 70 million. So it's 32 times the market valuation of the incorporation of the company 3 years ago. When these companies, the long term, it normally requires at least 6-7 years comparing to a traditional long tail business model. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. Impact and profitability can go together. Companies, people are attending today's session. Please, if you don't have in your agenda, you're working with an incubator, a venture builder, or working with DeepTech, you should explore it. And instead of scouting or select some startups that are very abroad or are not in your country, let's try to spend some time with your research institution. Perhaps will be half a mile from your corporate, and there will be your new blue ocean. And this is what I wanted to share with you today. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to sharing these deep tech opportunities. And now it's time for any question that you would think it's interesting for me to go deeper on.
Thank you, Oscar, for this amazing presentation. So we have already some questions in the chat, so I will read them out loud. So
please go ahead.
Renato Matos asks, what are the biggest challenges for the next 10 years for collaborative work with the application of high technology?
Okay, it's a very good point. Renato, no, if I'm not wrong, sorry, I'm renaming the name, I apologize if I'm not wrong, so I should be a priest, okay? No, joking aside, I think the main challenge the corporates have is how to start thinking different and making different, okay? You are and it's a question of what will be your methodology of innovation, to try thinking and testing different without putting in risk your current activities. And when you move into high-tech possibilities, you need to add a different challenge, an additional challenge, is this high-tech, they are very transversal. They will be very palpable. They will be very useful to address a lot of specific needs. How to think big and starting addressing the first real problem that could be a real quick win to afterwards spread and roll out this technology in all your corporate to set a different business, it will require some time. And normally it requires more different way of doing things in lean startup methodologies. Is the reason why I was proposing you and recommending you to take advantage of the specific existing programs.
Okay, we have a second question for you. So can you give us an overview of the Spanish deep tech startup ecosystem?
Okay, fantastic.
Big players.
Okay, this is a very good point. I don't know. I would recommend you some specific reports. Okay, in Mobile Congress, we normally once a year we announce a startup ecosystem overview. Today, I think they are Genico is doing a good job, but really giving some tips. Okay, what a Spanish ecosystem is around 10,000 startups, 9 unicorns, European unicorns. We are in a really good moment of investors, around 1.5 billion a year, comparing the 2019 that were more. It was the first year we had investments over 1 billion. Okay, in the case of this, then this is all the ecosystem. And you move in the case of Barcelona, we are around 1.5 thousand, and in the case of spin-offs, it's about one startup for spin-offs. Sorry, again, 25% of startups are spin-offs. Okay, but the challenge there is not the numbers, because KPIs are KPIs. I think that we have a huge opportunity there in how to transform these spin-offs in more market value. And Spain and Europe tech transfer ecosystem, we have a lot of room to improve. We had a lot of startups, a lot of patents that are zombie, if you permit me. They're not surviving a lot, or they're getting not a lot of revenue. Let me bring an example. In the case of Europe, do you know what's the 10% percentage of patents that are generating value? Only 5% of patents in Europe are generating the 60% of value. In the case of Spanish ecosystem, despite being 12 excellence worldwide in research, in knowledge, we are not as good at the States in transforming this knowledge into value. An example, the average turnover of spin-off in Spain is around 30,000 euros. Europe brings to nearly 250,000, the States is 6 million. Is just the example I was creating with you. And answering your question, Spain ecosystem and Europe is not good in everything. I think we are good in digital health, in clean tech, in agrotech, and artificial intelligence applied, or cybersecurity.
So one last question. How
Okay.
DeepTech is different from other type of technologies, and what are its promises and challenges?
DeepTech is different. They have an investigation. They have not only they have a knowledge asset, something is protectable in time to market. DeepTech comes after a process of investigation. That could be inside the university, could be inside a research institution, or wherever. It doesn't matter. The case of some deep learning and so on. It's not traditional application of current technologies. It's all about the research and investigation. This should be not only a technology, it could be medicine. They have drug discovery, as example of DeepTech, new protein alternative, or frontier materials. Okay, when we talk about DeepTech, we're not only about digital or hardware. We have a lot of the spaces. The main difference is that probably to talk about DeepTech, we need to think about a specific investigation process before transferring that project to the market.
All right, so that's all for questions. So thank you very much, Oscar, for being here with us. If any of you have any other question for Oscar or for us, feel free to send us an email, and we will make you connect.
Of course, it's been my pleasure. I'm ready to, and would love to get financial points of view with all of you. Okay, now I think it's time to see a real rock star, outstanding entrepreneur, and outstanding startup. And I'm really sorry because I need to jump to different parts. This is online world. It's really crazy. I'm very available, Oscar Sala through LinkedIn. So would love to follow the conversation another moment if it makes sense for you. Thanks, Marta. Please enjoy today's afternoon. Okay?
Thank you, Oscar. So now we have seen what Oscar had to say about deep technology, and now we will meet Miguel Silva, which is actually a clear example of how the Collider is helping deep technology. And Miguel Silva is the CEO and co-founder of Allread. It's a machine learning company that focuses on improving logistics. So Miguel, thank you very much for being here, and I give you room for your presentation.
Hi, Marta. Thank you very much for the invitation. Well, I believe you are seeing my screen right now. Is correct? Okay, so, well, basically, I'm going to talk about logistics. That looks like a bit boring topic, but we are going to show how Allread, with the technology coming from the university, from Barcelona University, actually, from the Computer Vision Center of Barcelona, we are going to be able to improve logistics operations. Basically, we're going to see some examples, a brief history of the company, how we have done in order to do that. Well, everyone knows how logistics, all of us, we order online. We really believe everything is about Amazon, right? One click, ordering something and getting it home in 24 hours. But logistics is much more than that. You know, by air, using aircrafts, trains, ships, I mean, you name it. There's a lot of stakeholders, a lot of players in the middle until our shipment or any cargo reach to the destinations. So basically, it's something that needs to be working 24/7, 365 days per year. And actually, as you can see in the news, sometimes it's broken. It's for due to several factors like the COVID, some factors have been stopped, the lack of maybe chips and other products and other commodities. So really we are suffering ourselves, the whole society, this big issue about how a supply chain could be broken. And one of the reasons probably is because there is no full digitization of the logistics right now. You see this train, high-speed train, there is only one way to track this train. I mean, today it's impossible with a human eye to see the container number or the wagon number or any other symbol or text you see in the screen. And now companies, they need to track that, not just trains, but trucks, ships, air cargo, you name it. So it's what we are trying to solve. Today, we are surrounded still by text, codes, and symbols. You go to the street, you go to anywhere in an operational environment, a factory, a seaport, a logistic hub, and you have seen text, codes, and symbols everywhere. They're omnipresent in increasingly fast and complex supply chains. So basically, we are launching a product that is going to solve that, because mostly of the logistics platforms are not fully automated, 97% actually, causing a huge, bottlenecks in the European Union freight network, 4 billion euros per year, and 45 billion euros per year just in contamination costs due to freight trucks. Today, it's unsustainable to keep doing logistics and supply chain in the same way we are doing till the last years. So we need to change that. In order to change that, we need to implement technologies like the Orbit technology that basically we are a plug-and-play computer vision software for smart logistics, where we want to track anything, anywhere, from a single camera, using any camera. We are surrounded by text, codes, and symbols, but as well, we are surrounded by cameras, CCTV cameras, smartphones, you name it. So basically, we want to use this infrastructure in order to spot, read, and digitize any text and symbol around. Some facts about us: we are only a 3-year-old company based in Barcelona, a spin-off of the Computer Vision Center of Barcelona, and we are already active in several countries, in European Union and in Latin America. In 3 years, we have grown to 25 people already, with highly specialized computer vision and deep learning engineers. Our core is the technology, but obviously we need to convert this technology in a product in order to be commercialized. We got a strong partnership like Computer Vision Center Barcelona, the Mobile World Capital, the Go Hub, that is a corporate venture capital, and as well some Spanish and Catalan government. A very quick, history about, how you need to build a spin-off. You just need people, but you need money. It's impossible to, to build products with deep tech technology if you don't have the money. So basically, you need to do funding rounds, and in the last 3 years, we have done already 3 funding rounds. Actually, the first one was from the Mobile World Capital. We have just listening to Oscar Sala, the director of the Collider. We have been born and raised right there. Later, with some help from the Catalan government and the Spanish government, we have already reached a private funding round by GoHub, SADE, Inlea, and several partners. And this year, we are closing the last funding round for more than 2 million euro. So basically, we want to build a product that is able to identify, track, control, and monitor any asset in the logistics supply chain using the existing cameras. How we do that? So this is actually an algorithm, a software coming from the university. It has been transferred from the Computer Vision Center of Barcelona to the company. And basically what it's doing is accessing any camera or software is installed on the server, on-prem, or in the cloud. We just access to the cameras, security cameras, smartphones, and we are able to track anywhere, any text. We find the text, the code, the symbol, and we extract it. We're going to see some examples to see how we do that. This is just in slow motion. We'll see first the slow motion and later the fast motion. So this is a camera, a screenshot from a camera from the Port of Barcelona. And as you can see, the train is passing by, and basically our software is able to find the important text in the picture. As you can see, you have a container ID, and you can see be find it, be extracted, and be digitized. And be find as well the vacuum number, and we can, the same software is able to spot it, read it, and digitize it with very high level of accuracy. So we're gonna see that in very fast, the real thing. So you see the security camera, you got hundreds of security cameras in ports. So let's use those cameras to track any asset passing by. And as you can see, we reach a 99% precision on that. The train is passing by through the railway, and we are able to create a map of the whole wagons, the whole container IDs, and the port, the facility is able to digitize the whole supply chain. This is at night. As you can see, mostly of this cargo is traveling at night, so the cameras with infrared sensor is able as well to find the text to basically digitize and read the whole train. Another example, this is in case of Bilbao Port. We are using this software in several ports, but in Bilbao as well, as you can see, the security camera in the entrance, the container is coming with the truck, and we can identify not just the plate numbers, but the container codes, and as well the dangerous goods. It's important to spot the dangerous goods that's being carrying in the container. So basically, this is a product that, as you can see, is very scalable because the containers and these kind of codes are standards worldwide. So any port in the world can use the software. Let's see one example in high speed. This is a normal camera as well. As you can see, a fish eye camera in the port of Leixões in Portugal. And it's a free flow port, no gates. The containers are passing by, and our software is able to spot, read, and digitize the container IDs, plate number, etc. It's we are solving a huge problem in implementation because the facility doesn't need to, do a additional investment in cameras, infrastructure, or IoT, Internet of Things. Basically, we use the existing infrastructure, and the software is able to identify and use any camera as a tracking point for any asset passing by. And not just text, codes, and symbols. We got a lot of assets passing by that needs to be identified, like a seal detection, All these containers, they got a seal. So basically, our software, we are training our software through thousands of photographs to find the spot, the seal of the container. So basically, this helps a lot we're going to see another example later on, how we are going to be able to help the ports to create a much better traffic, no bottlenecks, no contamination, a much better digitation using our software, making sure the seal of this container that is, mandatory for customs process in order to basically the container that are thousands every day passing by to be processed. Another client in France and another clients are asking for this feature as well. Basically, we need to monitor loaded cargo in trucks and vehicles. So you can see the truck is passing by, looks like a bit stupid, but sometimes how you are able to identify if the truck is loaded with cargo or not. So when thousands of containers and trucks are coming every day, you need to validate if the container has left the facility. So with our software, basically we recognize if the container is in the right track with the right plate number and the right container ID. Another few examples with air cargo. It's not only be used by road, by train, by sea, but by air as well. So basically, there are containers that be used by air containers. In this case, IIG Cargo. We have a mobile solution that can be working any Android phone. So the operators can go around and basically do a photograph, spot the container, and we can digitize the container. That is very important for inventory time reduction. Right now, airlines are losing a lot of these containers, and this affects the business, the supply chain. With this kind of solution, not just in a mobile phone, but if you access to the security cameras, you can track any air container passing by. Last few examples, this is really important for dangerous goods. As you can see, these trucks are coming with several symbols, text, and codes. We need to spot, another clients, they want to spot the dangerous goods. Which kind of dangerous goods are they? So they can be, as you can see, here are corrosive, flammable liquids, dangerous substance, plug, etc., etc. So basically, our model is able to build up several scenarios where the whole supply chain is digitized. This is in Mexico, by the way, as you can see how they carry containers by train using, on the top containers, and even the sun. You see the sun is basically affecting the picture. The sun is just in front of the camera, but our software is able to identify perfectly the codes. So basically, as you can see, this shows how strong and solid is our software that is able to identify all those container IDs in a very tough environments of weather, sun conditions, etc. We do as well by drones. We can use a software in drones as well. We got several examples. We can be here forever. But I'm going to show you just one last example we are working in. The container seal, as you can see right now, most of the seaports, one operator needs to basically go there and scan the container seal. Right now, we are working a product where, as you can see in the picture, we using a camera, and our software is able to identify, and probably is going to be able to read in the future as well these container seals. So basically, we are solving a lot of issues in the supply chain in order to avoid bottlenecks, to be more streamlined, the consolidation, the identification of these kind of assets that are needed in order to process those vehicles and trucks. So our business model is based on that, in a license, a yearly license, where the client, can access and can choose several reading and detection modules like seals, vehicle type, license plates, etc. So we built a license, a yearly license, where the client, can use the software on-prem and can access and connect all their cameras in the supply chain network. So basically, it's quite easy. They connect the camera to the server. They install software, they configure the reading outputs, we supply, basically a database, and we send these updates to the ERP, to the operative system working in this facility. So basically, it's like a black box installed in the server of the client, and they can digitize the whole camera network in order to have full traceability of the assets. Actually, any product needs a test. Today, digital products is very important to build from a key technology a much better product. So we got an option where the clients can test the web app. Actually, we got some examples in our web, and basically, we give login, a password, and the client can basically go there and check if our software is able to digitize the cameras in the premises. In this example, as you can see, they select a picture or a video clip, and they make sure if these pictures of trucks, they are able to be digitized properly, the container seal, the plate numbers, etc. Well, we already are doing quite good. In 2-3 years, we have duplicate sales. We are multiplied by 3 in 2022. We are crossing the 1 million annual recurring revenue this year. So we have been quite successful in taking this product to the market. We already got almost 30 clients paying for software. We are keeping growing. We are hiring, mainly with 25 people right now. So that is a clear, good example how a good technology coming from a public center, from the Computer Vision Center of Barcelona, through a very good support of investors, public and private, we are able to take this technology to the market and not just creating good jobs, but bringing good solutions, technology solutions to the market worldwide. So that's it. We are all read, be spotted, be read it, and be digitized. Thank you very much. And if you guys got any questions, I will be here for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel. It was a very interesting presentation. Actually, we could see very deep into detail how this deep technology that Oscar was talking about, it's so useful for logistics sector. Yeah. So I didn't expect it would be such a difficulty for them, and how much evolved is the technology so that they can actually read at the speed. So exactly. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Now we will start with the questions, and we have one from Miriam that states, what would you say are the stronger barriers to adapting these types of technologies?
Well, it's a good question, because we face this problem every day when we're trying actually to get clients. We are talking about clients are huge, ports, island cities, decision makers, they are, from the director to the CEO, operations, so many players involved on that. And actually, you already got solutions for that for a long time. OCR, this kind of technology. We get the tickets, from when we are speeding in the highway. Actually, they're using similar technologies for that. But they are very old technologies. They can spot only one plate number. They cannot spot another symbols or codes. So the most difficult barrier in order to adopt that is to change. If you want to think in the future about to implement a software technology that is going to be in the long route, in the long term. So, well, if you are in B2B, we are in B2B, we are a software B2B company, you need to always accept that long sales cycles is a big issue here. Decision makers as well, they are not always available. Logistics and business working 24/7, 365 days per year, and not everyone is available. So it's really difficult, so many barriers there in order to implement that. So, the good thing that supply chains and logistics are in the media the whole day. Really, they need to be digitized. It's not sustainable the way we have done logistics in the last few years. We need to improve with technology, with new mechanisms in order to improve that. And the logistics ports, any logistic player in the market, they require these techs. So probably timing is everything in life. I think we have launched this technology in the right timing in order to prove that they can streamline the logistic operations in every single seaport around the world.
And Miriam also asked if the cost might be one of the difficulties for adopting these technologies, and also asked, is there a lack of knowledge of the possibilities that these kind of systems are offering?
Well, I'm not sure if I got the question already. I mean, exactly is asking about. Can you repeat it,
the
please?
first question, she was asking about the barriers of adopting these technologies, which you gave an answer. And then she asked if maybe the cost would be one of the barriers, or maybe the lack of knowledge about the possibilities.
Okay, good question. Yeah, well, the cost, actually, what is really expensive is to keep the old technologies. The old technologies require hardware, a lot of security cameras, special security cameras, gates, so much hardware. The good thing about our technology is like doesn't require this huge hardware investment, no more capex involved. So basically, as I have said in the presentation, we use the existing infrastructure of cameras. So cost is an issue, but again, I think our biggest barrier is to make sure our technology is solving a real problem, because right now they got technologies to solve that. But again, if the traffic, is even higher of trucks, if trains, for example, are really difficult to digitize right now, you don't have commercial technologies in order to digitize trains. They are really very expensive, and only you can implement it in very few areas. But with our technology, it's easier to implement and deploy our tech in every single camera around. So cost, I don't think is an issue. Is the change of the people, probably the approach to solve problems in the long term, not in the short term. So again, this has been changed because COVID has changed our lives for the bad, for the good, and probably the digitization of the supply chains has to be improved, increased, and speeded. So basically, I don't think cost is an issue. Basically, we are saving a lot of capex, a lot of investment using these software technologies. But I believe the biggest barrier is the people who make the decisions in order to implement it as soon as possible. So it's a timing barrier, basically.
And we have one last question. They're asking, I imagine these technologies require a lot of training. So is that a challenge? And what was your experience? What's your experience in applying these solutions?
All right. It's a good question. Actually, it's true. I mean, machine learning is about training a software to identify things, faces, assets, numbers, whatever. And you need big data. Actually, you need, photographs, videos in order to train this software to spot those assets. So the good thing about this software, that again is coming from the Computer Vision Center Barcelona. Actually, the people who has developed this software is already in the company, is working within the Computer Vision Center Barcelona and the company itself. We are actually deploying new models, not just for spotting, for reading, but for detection of these assets. So Yeah, we need big data, but not as many as you think. I mean, for example, for faces, the technology for recognizing faces is huge. You need millions of photographs. But for this, actually, your algorithm is able to jump to a new scenario. For example, if we are recognizing container IDs, now we want to recognize wagon numbers, the code of the wagon in the train. Maybe need a few thousands of pictures. We don't require a huge bunch of hours and hours of video and pictures in order to or software to work. So yeah, it's a huge barrier as well. Artificial intelligence only works with data. If you don't have data, you don't have the product in order to solve that problem. So by today, working with our stakeholders, basically with our clients, they supply this data, they supply these photographs, and we are able actually to retrain our software in order to get much better, higher accuracy, and basically to be able to escalate to another scenarios.
Nice. Thank you very much, Miguel. So
You're
if anybody has further questions, feel free to ask to us and we can forward them to Miguel, and we can also put you in contact with him. We had on the chat some people mentioning that they found it very interesting. So I'm very happy to hear this. And thank you again for being here. And
thank you very much.
Well,
thank you, guys. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much for the invitation to all the team. And if anyone likes in the audience and wants to apply for our read, you are welcome. We are hiring. It will be great if anyone with experience in deep learning, in computer vision, or even in sales, wants an opportunity to work in a deep tech company here in Spain, working remotely. We welcome to send our the CV, and we'll be glad to reply him as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel. Have a good evening. So this Innovation Week is part of the Global MBA of Transformational Leadership. So basically, an MBA that's created for experienced professionals that want to change the industries and markets. So you can discover within this MBA how technology can help you transform your company. And we do this with 4 blocks. The first block, you will understand all digital foundations. You will understand what are the different business model and competitiveness models. And the second block, you will look into customer centricity and loyalty. Look into marketing, look into innovation models and maturity levels. The third block will be all the transformation of the value chain, going from operations to marketing to finance and to IT governance models. And finally, you will discover what are the different accelerators that will help you bring this change you want. And this can be artificial intelligence, can be blockchain, can be 5G or IoT, among others. And all of this, you will learn it, and along the way, you will be doing and discovering more for your own thesis project. So we don't do this alone. We do this with our board of experts. And that's precisely why they are very important for us. And it's because they are the mentors that they will follow you and they will help you bring the project to reality. You can find that our faculty board is full of CEOs, funders, technicians, and consultants. So you can also look in this QR code in which you will find the brief and all the information you might need to join the master's program. And the surprise I was talking about is that we have a rooftop platform, which is an online course platform in which you can find a lot of short courses, and you can actually get access to one of these courses for free. You can scan the QR code you can see on the screen and introduce the code that you can find in the week 22. So thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have further questions, you can always drop us an email. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you.